My name is Diamond.
I'm Gwendolyn.
I'm Nasir.
I'm Cassie.
I'm Nika.
And we're excited to be sitting here on our first episode of The Hot Seat. But enough of the introductions, let's get started.
All right, so everyone, I've been speaking recently to some of my friends, and this thing about Chris Brown and Rihanna with their new remixes together in a birthday tweet that everyone's been talking about. So how do you guys feel about it?
It's kind of weird.
I mean,
I don't know. He beat her up.
It's Chris Brown and Rihanna. At the end of the day, they're both grown. They're both adults. Like, they're going to do what they want to do. Like, I don't see why people are so like, oh my God. Like, I mean, I understand, okay.
Because he beat her.
I mean, I know he beat her, but how old were they? One, I'm not saying that age is I guess, an excuse for it, but it was 3 years ago? Come on. Like,
I'm more concerned about it from the perspective of Rihanna. Like, her face is her career, and like, he beat the living crap out of her. Like, that if he does that another time, and like, that's where her money is made too, and she has to have that as a self-concern.
But to be honest, everybody, like, you guys can say like everything, we're like, no, they shouldn't get back together. Yes, they should. But honestly, they both led very interesting lives, very messed up lives, and they're like drawn to each other, like, clearly. And like, when someone's like that, you can't tell them anything.
Exactly. So therefore, she made the decision to be with him. I mean, I guess clearly they've reconciled what happened between the two, and they are both adults. Again, she's 24, he's 22. They're gonna make their own decisions. I like them for the music. I personally, I mean, it wasn't a good thing, but I'm not in their personal lives, so.
Yeah, I think it just sucks because like it's the information age, so like everything's on Twitter, and all celebrities' lives are like out there for everyone to see. And if it was like a random couple, like no one would care. But because it's Chris Brown and Rihanna, like everyone's making like a big deal about it. Like if it was someone at Dickinson, like people wouldn't necessarily know. Like the whole world
those are
would know.
role models because they are public figures, and like Rihanna's being followed by a bunch of girls that are 12, 13, and like, what's the message to them? If their boyfriend beats them up, it's like, oh yeah, you gotta forgive him right away, or not right away, but at some point again.
True.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like Rihanna said, she's like, you can say whatever, I'ma do whatever.
Anyway.
Yeah, you noticed.
You said they were adults though. Like, how much of an adult are you at age 20, 21? Even like at you, how much of an adult do you feel?
Yeah.
But honestly, my concern is why Chris Brown would even feel that it was all right to make a new song with her, because think of how much like turmoil she put him in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everyone hates Chris Brown even to this day because of him beating her.
I don't think so.
I really think he really gets a lot of crap for what he did.
He does.
And I mean, like,
he's a woman beater. He should.
But
okay, he's not a repeat offender. I mean, people make mistakes. I'm not like at any way condone like giving him a pass because he was young and he beat her. But at the end of the day, okay, they've moved on from it. They're clearly like their careers have like skyrocketed since this event, and I think it should just be okay. Let them do what they're gonna do.
But at the same thing, I'm saying for him, it's like she made like it's so much harder for him because people are still the awards came on 2 weeks ago, and people were like, why was he there? Why was he allowed to perform? Being a woman beater, and now she's giving him the opportunity to be on songs with him and things like that. It's like. She still ruined his reputation. Well, I mean, he ruined it himself by beating her. But it's like,
clearly he's okay.
Like she's giving him, okay, we can be friends again. But at the same time, people are still on him about this.
They're both just crazy. Like, that's it.
And Jay-Z,
you gotta know though, this is not the only like anger management issue thing that Chris Brown has had. Like, he's been like in the tabloids about other stuff, and he's had to do community service and like social work because he has done other acts of aggression.
True.
Like,
Even Jay-Z's like really getting on Rihanna. He really doesn't agree with this whole getting back together, and I think he's like coming out with a new artist. I think her name is Rita Ora or something like that, but. I mean, he's clearly not, in any way agreeing with what she's doing in her decision, so.
Because she's a liability now, too. If something happens again and then he has a huge label deal with her and she drops out, that's millions of dollars being lost for him as well.
True. But anyway, clearly Jay-Z and Rihanna are not on the same page, but at the end of the day, I mean, the only thing he should be worried about is Baby Blue. Oh my God, I freaking love Beyonce. Everybody already knows this.
That baby that.
What's wrong with Baby Blue?
Blue Ivy's green. Sorry. Blue
Ivy. Really? Okay, Beyonce and Jay-Z clearly made a unified decision to name their baby Blue. I don't see the problem. And it's not Baby Blue, it's Blue Ivy Carter.
One of them choose one name and one of them choose the other name? Like,
I don't know.
Jay-Z, what's your favorite color? I like blue.
No.
Beyonce, what's your favorite
last time I checked, this is a free country.
Ivy.
You can name your kid whatever
Yo,
you want.
Blue Ivy. Like, that's
no. I hear it actually was a play on words. Blue for the Blueprint.
Blue Ivy.
And then
for
Ivy. The Ivy is for Beyonce's newest album is for.
Four, exactly. Her favorite number is 4.
So I mean, even in their name, they're marketing.
Named after albums of music.
I mean, but think about it. What runs their life? Music.
Exactly. She's the first baby to ever appear on the Billboard. The youngest person to ever appear on the Billboards. Like really.
Billboard Awards?
Yeah, no, the Billboard, the top like
Charts.
100 charts, Billboard charts.
What? How?
For the
Because
song
he wrote a
Glory.
song "Glory" and she is featured at the end of like her crying during birth. So she's like
Whoa!
considered.
I
That's
did not know
intense.
that.
Exactly.
That's
Yep.
intense.
Exactly.
Good song, by the way.
But whatever, you know.
I like her decision though to take a break from the music thing and.
Yeah, it's like what
Child.
else can she do?
Yeah.
Oh, she's really done everything.
Yeah,
But
but
there's
you
so
know, a
much
lot
more
of them
she
they
can
get so focused on their career and they kind of just like have the child and say like give it to a nanny, it's like you take care of the problem, and
Yeah.
you got to respect a celebrity for taking.
But I
care
mean,
of it
she's
themselves
still
now.
gonna definitely have like 10 nannies. Like, let's be real.
I
She does
hope
like
not.
so. I feel like she
She
does
has
like
to
so
perform.
much
Who's gonna
stuff.
watch the kid? I mean,
Well, that's the
Nanny
thing.
number
She's
one.
supposedly
True,
taking
true,
a
true.
major break from it and just not
Doing
doing anything,
anything?
finishing
Oh,
what she's
okay.
got planned up, and then after that,
Well, that's good.
taking a break.
Yeah, before she got pregnant, I remember reading an article in Essence magazine about how she had took a 6-month break after pretty much finishing up all her songs for the album 4, and how she, you know, took in her nephew Daniel for like 4 weeks and like took him to Disney World and things. So she
Took him
could
to
get
school
used to,
every day.
Yeah, she could get used to, you know, how to have a family, and so that was like her hinting that she was planning on.
That'd be nice to have like just time to.
I think today I just want
nephew
people to like
Disney
lay off of Beyonce. Like, come on, like I mean, I think people look for fault in her just because she, at least in her career, she doesn't make decisions that kind of put her out there, so she doesn't beat people or you
Or
know,
she
do
doesn't
things-
get beat up.
I mean, if you can control that, but like at the end of the day, she doesn't do things that I guess kind of put her in vulnerable positions, and therefore people to look to like pick at other things in her career that so she maybe had a surrogate baby. That's what people are saying, but again, I don't know. I don't believe it.
remember
I don't
that.
believe it, but
I've heard that.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of the biggest Beyonce fans in the world. I won't say I'm the biggest
you're
because
not the
I don't want
biggest.
to get into
You're
that
not the
one.
biggest. You're not the biggest.
But at the same time, it's like, you know, this whole thing with whether the pregnancy was her own or not. I mean, why does it matter? Because when you think about it, even if it's not her baby, think about the life that she's given a child who wouldn't have had that otherwise, you know? So either way, she's doing something great. Even if it is her child, that's even something bigger.
Exactly.
Because think like
Exactly.
this baby's just born into such royalties. I mean, you know, so either way.
But anyway, moving on to
We got to talk about Jeremy Lin. This guy has been a sensation for the last 2 weeks. I personally am in love with him, and I hope he's going to keep doing well. But he's got a lot ahead of him. It's kind of like the Tim Tebow thing. Everybody's like pumping him up, bringing him to a level that he's not quite at yet. But I think he's going to be great, and I like.
I mean, okay, so what I know from this kid, I don't watch sports at all, but he's, I guess, apparently a Harvard grad with a
Harvard
degree
grad
in
with an econ
economics.
degree.
Exactly. Like,
He's a big deal.
I don't know. Like, I personally, like, what's the big deal? Like, what's so great about Jeremy Lin?
Because he got denied by all the top schools for basketball because they said he was undersized, and like also what ties in a lot is that like he's Asian American and not a lot of them
I
play
think that's what
basketball.
makes
None of them have ever really made it. Actually, none of them. He's
Yao
the first
Ming.
one.
Yelling.
Well,
Yao
Yao
Ming.
Ming is
He
not
was
Asian
born in
American
Asia.
because Jeremy Lin is from
Oh.
America, or
Okay.
he's Taiwanese American.
The thing
Okay.
is that
And-
our generation, well, okay, speaking as an Asian American, our generation can relate to him. I was just reading the article right now, and it was just like Jeremy Lin, born in Los Angeles, California, hometown, has, you know, grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. That's where my other part of my family is. And he just talked about how his parents were the ones who emigrated here. And that story, all of us can relate to it. All of our, you know, everybody was born in LA, moved to has family in San Francisco, and for us, someone in our generation that we can see ourselves in, making it. And as a basketball player, I can't tell you how many Asians played basketball at my school, and none of them got any sort of offers from any school or anything.
They
Why
pretty
is-
much
why
get
is that?
overlooked just because they pretty much are Asian. It's a very like standardized system in how they draft and like also recruit. And he kind of made it through, and everybody said no to him. He kept sticking with it. He played in the D League for a while, and then he just by coincidence got a shot because everybody on the Knicks got hurt, and he shows up and he just blows up. So.
Shaq was talking about it the other day. He was sitting there. He's like, you know, I don't really know what the big deal with Jeremy Lin is. He's basic, and it's just like I'm sitting there like Shaq, you know.
Wow.
He even
Like
said, I don't even know what the big
smack
deal is.
all
Wait,
the time.
he knows what the big deal is. Like everybody does.
But you got to say first, it's only been 2 weeks. Like he's
Yeah.
got to finish the season out first, and he played against the Heat the other day.
Yeah, but what
He only
happens-
had one shot out of 11.
What happens when Carmelo comes back? Or
He's
is he
already
back?
But
So
the
what's
big
going?
question is like Baron Davis is back too. So who do you start now? Like, and he's only played 9 games, and Baron Davis has played over 800 games in the NBA and like 50 in the playoffs. So we'll see. I think he'll be good. He'll
He
be
clearly
great.
has a following now,
he
though.
needs
Well,
more
yeah,
time.
he has
Yeah,
like
he
Yeah, he
potential.
can have a following though, but he
absurd
still has to
potential.
play first
Yeah.
because if he doesn't play and he's playing in New York, they're going to tear him to shreds if he starts sucking anytime
Well, I
soon.
mean-
Did any of you guys watch the Heat game?
Yeah, you got
I watched.
killed.
I was
We did watch
so
the
so
game.
disappointed.
But I guess we'll have to see for the rest of the season what goes on. We'll be right back after this commercial break.